Konami, this is for commentary purposes. Please understand. Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe!
Hey! Deku!
Janina? Yes!
It's time
For another history lesson!
It looks like Yellow Toad is freaking out.
I'll say hello.
We sincerely apologize about that, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video, and this time it's focusing on Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters, and in this video we're going to be looking at the history of Darts' organization, Paradius, and how it was founded. Let's get started on the ancient past! For starters, Paradius Incorporated is an organization that is founded and controlled by Darts during the Waking the Dragons arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! It hides the secret activities of the Orichalcos. Its insignia is similar to the seal of Orichalcos itself, and it is one of the two organizations alongside the secret cult group Atlantis that serve Darts. And it is said that this mysterious multinational conglomerate owns a small piece of every company in the world. And this company itself briefly took control of both Kaiba Corp and Industrial Illusions. The organization's headquarters itself appears to be a type of castle. In Darts' conference room, he has a mirror which transports him from his sea lair to Paradius headquarters. 10,000 years ago, Atlantis, which is an island isolated from the rest of the world, was a perfect civilization. One day, however, meteors rained down upon the kingdom. These meteorites were mysterious and powerful stones of the Orichalcos, and it glowed a bright greenish-blue light. And these stones imbued the people of Atlantis with ultimate knowledge and power. In just a few years, Atlantis became the most advanced civilization on the planet, even more advanced than the modern world of today. However, with power comes corruption and greed. Once upon a time, there was a young man named Darts who was born to Ironheart after his mother Fiona passed on. Darts found love and married Iona, who dated for a few years ago and got married and gave birth to a daughter named Chris. In a coronation ceremony, Ironheart, the king of Atlantis, gave his throne to his son Darts. However, the stones of Orichalcos began to expose the evil in people, turning those with darkness on the inside with Malfestids on the outside.
Wait! Come back!
I understand now. But eventually, Darts witnessed his own wife, Iona, become a horrid, ugly she-beast who attacks him. So, confused and frightened, Darts had to kill his beloved Iona and screamed his killer.
A few moments later.
Darts buried his wife and not told the truth to his father and daughter about their mom. So after that, he consulted a stone of the Orichalcos for guidance. And the Orichalcos granted Darts with great power and let soldiers to do his bidding. It told him to resurrect an ancient mythical beast known as the Orichalcos god, aka the Great Leviathan, which would help him to destroy the world and create a new one that would be free of evil. Eventually, Darts became corrupted and misguided. As a result, Ironheart and Darts' daughter, Chris, fled and called upon the world of duel monsters and its guardians, the three legendary dragons, which were in actuality three soldiers whom Darts had transformed into dragons, for help against the corrupted Darts. One day, an army of benevolent magical creatures, including the 3 dragons led by Ironheart, met with Dart's army of evil Orichalcos soldiers and the Great Leviathan, and the Battle of Atlantis took place. The battle concluded with neither side being victorious. The 3 dragons were frozen in ice, and the magical creatures were sent back to their own world. The bestial soldiers of the Orichalcos were destroyed, and the Orichalcos god was sealed away from this world. The island of Atlantis sank beneath the sea, and no one knew where the island had stood. The corruption of the Orichalcos made Darts believe the world to be a wicked place, and that humans had an inherent malice in their hearts. The transformation as the Orichalcos inflicted on his fellow Atlanteans was, he believed, the punishment for being evil. As the outside of man, women, teenagers, and children became as twisted as the inside, and Darts was driven to revive the Great Leviathan to raise the world, so that he may reconstruct it in the image of glorious Atlantis. To do so, Darts required human souls. He proceeded to wander the earth for the next 10,000 years, presumably kept alive by the power of the Orichalcos, and knew that he found one of the powerful souls he required when he entered the pharaoh Atem in ancient Egypt. Witnessing his control of the powers of darkness and his ability to command duel monsters, he also noticed the pharaoh with Slipher the Sky Dragon pursuing Thief King Bakura and his diabound. However, Darts would not capture the pharaoh's soul because Bakura and Zork was in his way. He therefore had to wait another 5,000 years.
It is unclear precisely when Darts began to collect souls, but eventually Darts established a multinational conglomerate named Paradius, which became a well-known yet mysterious force in the business world. But this was not the only organization Darts had formed. He also controlled the Paradise organization, and it's very similar to Organization 13. A group formed to gather souls to feed the Great Leviathan by challenging unsuspected players to games of duel monsters only to have their souls taken by the Seal of Orichalcos, a card he had suffused with the Orichalcos' power. For 10,000 years, Darts collected the souls of his adversaries and many innocents in order to ensure the return of the Orichalcos god into this world. With time, the number of souls Darts had stolen stretched into the millions, thanks in part to his underlings.
Did you know that?
Paradius is a pun on the Latin word paradisus, meaning paradise. Like the 7 Varian emperors years after them, the servants of Paradius learned too late that their leader was lying to them all along and ruined their lives for personal gain.
Now you know!
Ah, spoiler alert!
When Alistair was a child, the country he lived in was torn apart by war. Kaiba Corps brought the land from the city. When the residents refused to leave, Gozaburo Kaiba decided to force them out. Many were forced to dig tunnels and steal food to survive, and this is similar to the Holocaust and the life of Anne Frank. Alistair and his brother managed to survive. Alistair's mother, seen only briefly during the 150th episode inside his locket, and his brother Mikey were eventually captured. And unknown to Alistair, Darts had disguised himself as Gozaburo Kaiba and was responsible for the attack. One of Alistair's treasured keepsakes is his brother's broken action figure, Dynadude, from the monster Air Fortress Ziggurat. For this monster, Dynadude is a robot token.
Hey, let's talk about Valen next! Valen is taken to a juvenile detention center where he gets into more fights. Eventually he is taken to the headmaster, who tells Valen that he will let him leave if he defeats all the other prisoners on an island using the Seal of Orichalcos. But the warden was working for Darts. Valen defeats all of his opponents, and he then is encountered by Darts himself and is offered to work for him, and Valen accepts. He doesn't know that Darts was the one who had the church burnt down, and Darts had instead framed Valen for his first crime at the age of 9.
Did you know that?
Mark Thompson had to try an Australian accent for Valen's voice, and that's why he is from Australia.
Now you know!
All is forgiven.
And last but not least, Raphael came from a very wealthy family, and he led a perfect life. He had a younger sister and a younger brother. Sonia and Julian. During his birthday, when he received his gift of Guardian Eidos, Raphael was separated from his family on a luxurious cruise, and the boat went off course and directly into a tidal wave. The family survived and had forgotten about him. Raphael was stranded on a deserted island with only his duel monsters, which included Guardian Eidos, Guardian Duel, and Guardian Chaos, which he treasured. As the 3 years passed, he ended up gaining longer hair with only his clothing of a tank top and what's left of his pants. During this time, his cards blew into the ocean and Raphael dove in and retrieved them. It appears at this time he began to see his cards dual monster spirits, but he was never shown if they actually talked back to him. One day, Raphael saw a city right off the island. Upon building a raft, Raphael quickly sailed towards it, but as he got near, it disappeared and was pulled down underneath the sea by a tidal wave. There, Dart's voice told him to remember his voice, for they would meet once again. Raphael became conscious aboard his raft, and he was then rescued by a fishing boat, where his rescue was on the front page of a magazine. And at some point after joining Darts, Raphael met Alistair and Valen. Like Raphael, Alistair and Valen had their childhoods tragically manipulated and destroyed by Darts. Raphael obviously cared a great deal about his partners, as he showed concern for Valen after he fell in love with Mai, and was visibly upset when Alistair lost his soul. For Rex and Weevil, Raphael and Alistair took them to Darts, who agreed to give them power if they passed the necessary tests. Each of them was given a piece of the Orichalco stone, and both must succeed in grasping them, in which both of them had done so. Because of this, Rex and Weevil improved their decks by taking cards from Darts' massive collection, and Rex challenged Joey to a rematch for payback at Duelist Kingdom. Weevil then proceeds to confront Yami and duels him with the Seal of Orichalcos, empowering his insects, and using a similar insect barrier combo to protect himself using DNA surgery this time. During their duel, Weevil taunts Yami about how he is responsible for Yugi being taken by the Orichalcos. Eventually, he takes the taunting too far, and as a result, Adam loses his temper and ruthlessly defeats Weevil by using Berserker's Soul and pummeling him even after the duel ends.
Sadly, Ironheart is unable to find Weevil among the wreckage, resulting in the plot hole when his body is later seen in the hospital. So, for the time being, we'll just say Weevil is sent to the Shadow Realm once again. For Mai Valentine, Mai continues her Duel Monsters career by herself and wins several minor tournaments, but is overshadowed by Yugi, Kaiba, and Joey, and without her friends to show her the way again, her fear of defeat still persists, and she also suffers reoccurring nightmares of Yami Merrick, trapping her permanently in the Shadow Realm. After winning one particular tournament, she shatters the trophy after hearing the runner-up, and his friends say how embarrassing it is to lose someone like her. That she isn't a strong duelist like Yugi, Seto, and Joey are, but believe those three, unlike her, are still eons above them in strength. Afterwards, she meets Valen, who recognizes her as a loner and wants her to stand by his side, and he'll keep on winning, just for her, against anyone she wants. And he encourages her to forget about her friends and gain the power of the Seal of Orichalcos by joining Darts' henchmen. Under Darts' orders and influence, Mai ambushes and defeats Pegasus, trapping his soul. And Mai also believes that it was Yugi, Joey, and her other friends that abandoned her. And she particularly despises Joey and wants to defeat him for herself. Valen, who has developed feelings for Mai, believes Joey to be the source of Mai's suffering and aims to take out Joey himself. Although Mai doesn't even agree to this, Serenity would freak out, cry, or get mad at Duke, and will never forgive them if Joey lost his souls. The battles were fierce, and Joey, Kaiba, and Atem prevailed and won the battles, freeing everyone and giving them a second chance of life, like Usagi in Sailor Moon Classic and Talk no Jutsu from Naruto, and a redemption arc, unlike a certain blonde hair girl from Miraculous, who will be leaving in Season 5. Good riddance to her.
The Paradius Corporation was no more after the defeat of Darts and the destruction of the Great Leviathan, thus dissolving the company once and for all.
And there you have it!
So now you all know why Paradius is similar to the Baryons from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal 2, and Darts was like Dawn 1000 and the minions were just similar to Nash Castle. If you haven't seen the Waking the Dragons arc review, please check it out! Thank you so much for watching!
I hope you have a good day, everyone!
End of story. Bye-bye. See you later.